Hi friends, I am pleased to invite you all to have a discussion through this online video about the new education policy 2020. The Union government has brought out a new education policy on July 30th, 2020. And what are the merits and demerits of this policy and how it is going to affect the future of millions of our children? That's my concern here. Since we don't have much of time to elaborately discuss about the new education policy, I would like to focus and highlight only certain points. Like in the primary education, like school education, the RTE Act, the Right to Education Act, is not properly mentioned, and it puts a very big question mark. They may not scrap it, but still many of its provisions will not be implemented properly. That is my fear. Then it says that NEP focuses much on the centralization of the education. As we all know, India is a federal country. And states have certain rights, particularly states have more rights on education, on the school level education. Whereas now that right is slowly eroded by this new education policy. For example, the NEP speaks about there will be a national assessment center and it will completely redesign school-based assessment. It speaks about wonderful terms like a holistic development of a child, but does not properly explain what's really holistic development. And then the exams are going to be held in problematic as the guidelines are going to come from the central government, Central National Assessment Center. Then they will tell the states how to do it, what to do it. Centralizing of assessment does not make any sense at all. Then second, the language policy. And it speaks about multilingualism, and the aim is Ek Bharat, Shrestha Bharat. And Ek Bharat and Shrestha Bharat, it is actually in a way to indirectly promote the dead language called Sanskrit. As we all know, the constitution makers in 1950, they decided to include 14 languages in the 8th schedule. And after the time passes by, now it has been 22 languages in the 8th schedule. Well, no student can study all the 22 languages, but here the mother tongue should be the one. It should be given enough prominence, but whereas the mother tongue and second language and one more third language. And I think it's really a burden on any kid, any children, that they will not be able to assess the importance of what are the languages they are going to study for the future. So this is another problem. When the languages were marked as scheduled language, the demographic of the country was of one kind that time. But now it has vastly changed. So even in one metropolitan city, in major areas, we can see at least 8 to 10 types of languages are spoken in the vicinity. So how the child will be able to pick up the language? So indirectly pushing Hindi, and through Hindi it's a Sanskrit they want to revive. So that will be a big problem in this education policy. Then about the higher education, like they are going to establish few universities that will be designated as research universities and some as teaching universities. And we all know already how the Geo University was accorded the center of excellence before coming into existence. So it's all in the hands of the administration. Actually, it is with the department. And there are no regulations and each institute can make its own rules. And they can decide minimum qualifications, policies, structures, service conditions of employees, courses, and student teacher ratio. So these are, unless it is properly monitored and well guided by able authorities, you know what happens in India normally. So that will be a big problem. Then to reduce the number of colleges to 15,000, that will really lead to corporate style closures and mergers. Normally, depending on the brand value, the students choose their higher education institutions. For example, in Delhi, everyone will want to study in St. Stephen's, but it may not be the case with the Bhavana University. So, what happens to the ordinary person, a poor student coming from a very poor background, how he will be able to attain to the level of St. Stephen's? Then research topics. That's a very cruel thing, I think. It's going to be decided by the National Research Association. And with that, the freedom to choose your research topic is being taken away. So normally the higher education means it's a tool of emancipation, and that particular right of a student has been taken away. In case of universities, there will not be any council, executive council, but rather it will be board of directors. And these board of directors or board of governors will not have any elected representatives. This is highly undemocratic, and normally it is ideologically controlled by those sit in power. And the so-called public intellectuals and primary funders naturally will be part of this board of directors. Then whom they will work for? What will be their aim? To promote equality among all students, or to make education a profitable one. And even in funding, there is no commitment from the side of the government that there will be enough funding in the entire document. And now we hear that the University Grants Commission is going to be abolished, and there will be some other system may come which will be entirely controlled by the central government. That affects the federal nature of India. And then, if everything is left into the place of the private hands, then where will most people who cannot afford the fees go to study? What will they be taught and what will they be allowed to say as part of the course? So that will be a big problem. So finally, I think there is the whole document after going through, I don't find the word reservation. In all the 60-page document, there is no speech or no discussion about the word reservation. Maybe it says that underprivileged sections, but underprivileged who? Is it Adivasis, Dalits, women, minorities? What will be the part played by these people? There is nothing you can see in the new education policy document. So, finally I would like to say, this provides enough place for saffronization of education, which is purely the agenda of the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak. And it is going to exclude many thousands and millions of children from the mainstream education. And this is going to be a great divider and enhance inequalities that are already existing in the country that we know in the name of caste system. So, this policy will not help to bring the ideals of the Constitution, which is liberty, equality, and fraternity. That is my opinion. So, the government should have a proper discussion with the people and in the parliament. Only then identifying all the gaps and weak points. Once they are rectified, then the new education policy should be implemented. And if they are not doing that, that means it is a clearly RSS agenda which has been promoted through this new education policy. Thank you.